You ever watch a kid get handed the keys to a Ferrari and realize halfway down the street that he's never driven anything faster than a lawnmower? That's what Sunday felt like for the Browns. Sudden, thin, and a little terrifying. Dillon Gabriel banged his head, went into concussion protocol, and rookie Shedeur Sanders was tossed into the deep end against the Ravens. The scoreboard read desperation, the tape read chaos, and by the time the final whistle blew, Sanders's stat line looked like a cautionary headline. 4 of 16 for 47 yards, a pick, a fumble, 2 sacks, and a 13.5 passer rating. Reuters. The human part of it lands harder than any box score. Shedeur is 23, the son of a Hall of Famer, a college star who lit up Colorado, and still somehow slid into the 5th round before Cleveland scooped him at number 144. Expectations followed him like paparazzi, and the spotlight doesn't care about gentle introductions. It only knows the next play. He tried to make something happen, and sometimes you could see flashes of the quarterback who shredded college defenses. More often, you saw the rookie trying to catch up to a game that already had its own momentum. At NFL.com, Kevin Stefanski's message is simple and unsurprising. Dillon Gabriel is the starter when healthy, and the team will wait for the medical green light. Gabriel remains in the concussion protocol, and the Browns will need to decide this week whether he's cleared. If he's not, the Browns will hand the keys to Sanders for the Week 12 trip, 12 to Las Vegas, a matchup the Raiders will be watching with genuine interest. ClevelandBrowns.com. So what did we actually watch on Sunday? A young quarterback who's talented enough to have made NFL scouts dream, and raw enough that a hostile environment like Baltimore will expose the gaps. Shedeur completed his first couple of throws, but then the Ravens' pressure and the Browns' offensive timing fell apart. There were moments where receivers and Sanders didn't look synced. There were plays where the pocket collapsed before a structure had time to form. The interception and the fumble were brutal, yes, but the sacks and the holding of the football too long were textbook symptoms of inexperience more than moral failure. NFL.com, let's be blunt about why this matters. The Browns drafted both Gabriel and Sanders this year. Gabriel's concussion creates a short-term problem and a long-term subplot. If Gabriel misses time, the team faces a real crossroads. Do they give a promising, publicity-heavy rookie a run at building chemistry with the first team, or do they protect him and try to ride things out when the stakes are high? The Raiders on the other side aren't some patsy. Las Vegas has defensive personnel built to exploit chaos, and if Sanders starts in Week 12, the game will feel like a stress test. CBS Sports, there's more context people are missing when they scream for or against Sanders. First, the draft slide. Many analysts pegged him as a top prospect who inexplicably tumbled into the 5th round, and Cleveland actually traded up to get him. That tug of war says something. Teams were wary, but the Browns wanted his ceiling enough to move for him. Second, being Deion Sanders' son brings both privilege and an extra set of critics. Some people see pedigree and talent, others see media spectacle and project issues onto him that might not belong. Either way, the expectations are real, and they're loud. Guardian, practically, if you're projecting a Week 12 matchup, here's what matters. Shedeur needs clean pocket time, chemistry with his top targets, and a manageable defensive scheme across from him. Against the Ravens, he had none of that, and the film reflected it. An NFL defense that can club the offensive line and close passing windows will force a rookie to make hurried decisions, and bad decisions become turnovers, which become points, which become panic. The Raiders' pass rush, their disguise packages, and their secondary opportunism will be licking their chops at the idea of game planning for a first-time starter. That's not fear-mongering. It's how matchups work. CBS Sports. But let's not do the easy thing and finish this as a dunk on the kid. He showed some traits you can't teach overnight. Accuracy on go routes when the timing's right, the ability to escape pressure with short runners, and a competitive spine that didn't let him fold after mistakes. Coaches will stress fundamentals over headlines this week. Footwork in the pocket, quicker reads, rhythm throws, and simplified progressions. Those are boring and invisible, but they're the scaffolding of quick improvements. If Cleveland gives him a week of clean reps with the starters and a game plan to reduce blind alleys, he could look measurably better in Vegas than he did in Baltimore. Brown zone with Scott Petrak, there's also the roster chessboard to consider. The Browns didn't draft Sanders as a media pet. They drafted him because his college tape suggested genuine playmaking upside. If Gabriel is out and Shedeur starts, this becomes a chance to evaluate him under real pressure, not just a taste of the week. For the Raiders, seeing Sanders means lining up against a quarterback who's both dangerous and mistake-prone. For Browns fans, it's the moment they either panic or pivot. Either way, NFL narratives don't last forever. Performance can quiet noise, and quiet performance can build trust quickly. ESPN.com. The social ripple was immediate. Fans tweeted, critics shouted, and headlines asked if the Browns had made a mistake drafting two quarterbacks in one offseason. Those debates are fine for talk radio. The gridiron will speak next. What matters now are the walls coaches build around their rookie, the medical updates on Gabriel, and how the Browns choose to balance development with winning. If Gabriel is healthy, the drama evaporates for a week. If he isn't, Cleveland gets a real pressure-filled audition. CBS Sports. So here's the thing to remember when you sit down on Sunday. Roster moves and rhetoric matter, but so does execution. A rookie's debut will make for hot takes. A rookie's second start will tell us whether the tape from college was the outline of something great or just a highlight reel. Shedeur Sanders has the tools and the name and the storyline. Now he needs the timing, the protection, and one less sack to turn questions into answers. The Browns hope they get that. The Raiders hope they don't. And the line you'll hum on the drive home? NFL fame is fast and forgiveness is slow. Making your first start in the league is less about flashes and more about surviving the next 3 quarters. If Shedeur Sanders steps under center for the Browns in Week 12, this won't be a novelty. It'll be a full-on storyline with real stakes. Dillon Gabriel is in concussion protocol. Kevin Stefanski says he'll retake the job when he's cleared. And that uncertainty is exactly what creates this moment. A fifth-round rookie whose first regular season snaps were ugly, suddenly thrust into the spotlight against a hungry Raiders defense. Flash recap first. Sanders. Debut was rough. 4 completions on 16 attempts for 47 yards, 1 interception, a fumble, 2 sacks, and a passer rating that barely registered. Those numbers aren't just box score noise. They reflect timing issues, decision latency, and protection breakdowns. He also wasn't getting first-team reps in practice. This was a half-prepared quarterback asked to do a full job under pressure. That context matters. This is not about panicking. It's about being realistic. From the Raiders' point of view, this is a clear blueprint. Attack the pocket, force him to process faster than he has to, and make the Browns pay for piecemeal preparation. 3 tactical priorities stand out. First, turn up the pressure early and often. Sanders' comfort with pre